How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and welcome to a brand new video, guys. Now, before we get into this content, I want to make sure to point something very quickly out. I've got a little bit of sore in my mouth, so if I do sound a little bit odd, a little bit off, a little bit weird, that's the reason, just so you guys understand and know that I'll sound probably a little bit weird due to the sore in my mouth. So, yeah, just a little bit of a heads up, so you know what I'm talking about, what the deal is, and yeah. That's just about it, though. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do we talk about today, lads? Well, we got three different things I'm pretty sure we're going to go through. One is a fan-made thing, like a fan-made version of Ash and how he's going to look like in the Galar region, which I think is pretty cool. Then we got a rumor, and we also have a bit of a wish list with some information that I think is, worth bringing up. Kind of an interesting one. I think we've seen like a similar one before, but yeah, I thought it'd be fun to bring it up, talk about it, and see what it all has to offer, because you guys know how these things work, you know how it is. So yeah, here's one of the first things though, which was sent to me by Sheely, saying, I'm sorry I didn't post any rumors, but here's a rumor I forgot to give you. Don't worry about it, Sheely, you always send me information and stuff, so do not say sorry, there's no reason to do that. It's A-okay, hombre, no need to worry, no need to worry, man. So, let's see. Alright, here we go. First things first. This post was made by a guy called, Nick, the Greek 13. Alright, that's his name. And he's called it Pokemon Sword and Shield. Not that he doesn't call it a leak at the start there, but it is what it is. And he says that he's got some information about the new Pokemon games, saying there will be spoilers in this post. Alright, now, here's the thing though. Remember, guys, I want to quickly point this out, because I've forgotten to point this out in the start of my videos over the last few, a month or so. I've been forgetting to point this out, but guys, please do remember that always take rumors with a mountain of salt. These are only meant as kind of like to be looked at in a speculative manner. Do not take them as legitimate off the, just off the cuff. Make sure to double check everything, look into it a bit further, and be more skeptical rather than being very accepting of everything you see in front of you and assuming it's all real and it's all trustworthy. It's all rumors, so don't put too much weight on it in the sense of it being guaranteed to be real, so to say. So just keep that in mind. This is all I'm going to say. Just keep that in mind, and, just keep that in there, lads. But yeah, so here's what we start with, though, which is first I must introduce myself in order to understand, how I know this stuff. All right. And he says I recently got my PhD in Greek history and mythology, so I'm quite an expert on that matter. Interesting point. My involvement was not an actual job, but more of a helping hand to an acquaintance working on a part of the story, which I will describe later. Which sounds very odd, I will say, but honestly, the world is small, man. I mean, I've got to be honest, lads. It's like you think that these things would be. I mean, I'm not saying this guy is real, okay, but I want to make an argument towards the possibility of these things being real in general. That there are possibilities like this, but seriously though, just think about it for a minute. There's so many coincidences all the time. I've met people that I know from the internet, but then turns out that they know someone I know IRL, and it's like, well, shit, that was a coincidence, I mean, there are tons of coincidences in the world, and there's tons of coincidences in just the day-to-day life of us humans, it just happens, it is what it is. Also, man, I'm not sure if I should get rid of the beard or not. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's starting to shape up a little bit better. But either way, back to the actual information, though. So, as I was saying, though, you gotta take these things with a mountain of salt, don't instantly assume they're real or fake, but also do note that these things are possible. Now, here's the thing, right, he mentions here that he'll describe this later. Let's get into it. So, as a huge Pokemon fan, I was very eager to help him, but also very curious about the games, always buzzing him with questions, which most of them he didn't answer. Please do note that this information is about 1 year old, which, okay, that's odd, but, sure, let's see what he has to say, though. Now, apparently there's one NPC from a royal family named Orestes, who is obsessed with an ancient history, and this is where I got involved, since they wanted to include many ancient Greek symbols in the city he rules, as well as Greek mythology tales when you interact with his huge library, and needed my advice. Which is intriguing because, as you guys know, the Romans tried to invade the Isle of, Britannia, Britain, they tried to invade them several times, and they failed. Mad props to them British lads. I mean, hey, if you're watching this from the UK, shout out to your predecessors. They managed to survive against the Roman, invaders. I mean, hey, good job, well played, but you did kind of fail, though, against the Vikings, which were slightly more primitive, if that's how we're going to put it, right? You failed again. You survived against the Roman invasions. to some extent, and majority of it. But you couldn't handle them Viking boys coming through and just kind of like chopping down you shits. So yeah, you know, shout out to them Viking boys, because they handled themselves quite spectacularly, if I'm going to be frankly honest myself. But either way, let's get back to the actual information, shall we? So, apparently there's an NPC with the royal family. He's got a few library needed by advice. Now, Orestes wants to live in the ancient times and manages to time travel, which, honestly, this wouldn't be surprising. Do remember that Pokemon does have time traveling? It's been present. Look back with, like, Heart Gold, Soul Silver. There's that event you can do, time travel event with Celebi, which takes you back to the, you know, a point of time where you could, like, battle Giovanni before he actually, you know, knew who you were. And, you know, that sort of stuff. It's a bit of a weird thing, right? Like, time travel opens up a massive can of worms, you know what I mean? Like, as soon as you open up the worm, like the can of worms that is time travel, you create a lot of issues for timelines, time loops, time, you know, making no sense. You know, I mean, look at, like, you know, how angry some people got about how Game of Thrones made less sense when they kind of were, you know, making armies move way faster than they should. That's not time travel, right? But that's just like, just look at that being a time-related thing where just, you know, fictional armies are moving, and to people that's annoying because they're like, how the hell would an army go from here to here, you know, this length? This is essentially like, you know, it's almost like a country's length in those times that fast. You know, people get a little bit confused and get a little bit annoyed about that sort of stuff. So imagine how it is then, you know, when you take Pokemon and the giant lore of Pokemon, then you mix in, like, you're like, you know what I mean, you got Pokemon and you're like, you know what this needs? Aliens and some sprinkles of time travel, because that totally makes sense, you know what I mean? Definitely makes it feel a lot smoother, if you know what I mean, dog. But it's a little bit dumb sometimes, but it can be pulled off rightly, which they have not done so yet. They've been able to somehow keep it together, but it's a little bit of a shit show, if I'm going to be frankly honest about it. I mean, think about it, right? It's a little bit of a shit show trying to figure out the lore and shit out of Pokemon, but it is what it is. So let's see. Sadly, not in ancient times, but only a few years ago. Using a high-tech device only to alter the timeline and bring the threat of the Mewtwo to this region, which is weird. The Mewtwo, and this wouldn't be surprising though, because this is the year of Mewtwo, so Mewtwo should be present in this game as well, I'm pretty sure. Now, the Mewtwo is still wearing the armor from the first movie, and the player battles and catches it, which sounds sick. They're going to be doing that whole event in Pokemon Go, as we've heard from the leaks, you know, that came out about that. There's going to be kind of like an interaction there, so to be fair, that is a little bit intriguing. But yeah, so he's going to be wearing that. Now, to the question I asked him. About new Eeveelutions, he said there's only one possible type for our next evolution. Not sure what he meant. So I guess that would be Steel typing or Dragon typing. One of those two would be the most possible one. You know what I mean? There's only one possible one, and that's got to be Steel typing or Dragon typing, I'm pretty sure. But then again, that also could be wrong, because if you look at all the evolutions, I'm pretty sure... Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you look at all the evolutions, all the typings we do have are majority, I'm pretty sure, special attackers, right? I think they're all special attackers. So, because, I mean, if you look at the ones that aren't special, like right here, I mean, Umbreon, you know, use a Shadow Ball and that sort of stuff, special. Flareon, same thing, Flamethrower, Jolteon, Thunderbolt, etc. Vaporeon, Hydro Pump, you know, Water Gun, etc. Espeon, Psychic, Confusion, Glaceon, I guess, Ice Beam, etc. Sylveon, shit, I can't remember any fairy type moves at the top of my head right now. You guys will figure it out in the comments down below. Leafeon, you know, Leaf Blade, shit, I don't know, Synthesis or some shit, I don't know, man. My point is, they seem to use special attack moves, to the majority. That seems to be, like, the majority of what they do. Also, yeah, it's just great when you just get a random call. Thank you, Memo! Appreciate it, dog! Yeah, I was just middle of the thingy. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I probably just confused the shit out of, or rather, he confused the shit out of everyone. By the way, quick random plug to him. Shout out to Memo. Make sure to subscribe to his channel, and also go to his video and comment #Discord. Okay, just because he did that. So either way, where were we? Okay, so it's a lot of possibilities, right? Basing it on the fact that what I'm trying to say here is that seemingly it, to me, makes sense that they would go down the path of having another one that's a, you know, a special attacker then. And another special attacker would be a poison type or a dragon type. Because I think dragon type would make sense. Because you've got, like, actually, no, they wouldn't, wouldn't they? That wouldn't make sense, would it? No, it wouldn't. No, because I think it would be poison type. Or ghost type as well. Because ghost types use, I'm pretty sure, majority use... how do we put this? I mean, yeah, more majority special attacks. I'd say, like, Shadow Ball and stuff. You know, Confuse Ray, etc. You know, yeah, it's either like Poison or Ghost then would be the only possible ones if they follow the pattern they currently have. Because if they went for like a rock type, that's going to be a lot of, physical attacks. If they went for a steel type Pokemon, that would be also a bunch of physical attacks. If they went for a fighting type evolution, that would also be a lot of physical attacks. If they went for, what else do we really have? Bug type as well be a lot of physical attacks, right? So all the really physical attacking Pokemon are the ones that aren't included. Steel type would definitely not be one then. They followed the pattern. So, I mean, who knows, man? A poison type one, a ghost type one, most likely the ghost type seems like the most likely one. Even dragon typing potentially could work. Or a flying type. Honestly, a flying type would also make sense, because think about it, flying types use mainly like, special attacking moves, right? Wing attack, etc. Those sort of things. Fly, I guess. I mean, fly is a little bit different, though. I feel like it's, it depends on. My point is this, though, that it could be anything, honestly. So let's continue to the next part right here, shall we? He declined to describe the starters to me, no matter how hard I tried. Alright, new Pokemon type, no, that would not really surprise me whatsoever. I've said this before, but there's really no need for another typing. The only reason fairy typings, as you may know already, were introduced was just as a counter to dragon types that were already too OP to begin with, right? They were already OP as is, and they decided, well, why make another one that's just hella OP when we can simply just use our, a time, effectively, right? And make a fairy type that can counter dragon types, and why make another one when we already have a balance now? Because there's a balance in the typings right now, right? Dragon types are still strong, but they have fairies to counter them. Then you have fairies, which can't be too OP because you've got steel types, and I think ice types to counter? Wait, no, do ice types counter? I know steel typing counters, fairy typing, let's see, weakness. I'm pretty sure it's, let me see right here. So it's weak against, I think, is it poison? Or is it, I'm a little bit lost, let's see. So, fairy type is, okay, so it's definitely, okay, so fairy type is effective against dark dragon fighting, but it is weak against, poison and steel type, yeah. There you go, it's really weak against those two, so that makes sense, right? But, then again, doesn't surprise me this is mentioned. I do not think we get another typing ever in Pokemon ever again. I don't see why they would do another one to just kind of mess up the current balance that exists. So I don't know. Open world game, you will have some interesting decisions to make. So he's trying to imply here that the game isn't inherently open world, most likely, but you'll have things choices to make. Maybe like, which gym you want to take on, when you have an option between like the grass type gym or the water type gym, and which one you go for is a little bit of your own option, right? You choose which one you're going to go for, rather than that being kind of like a streamlined journey for you that you usually take in a normal Pokemon game. It's instead kind of like, set out for you, and you can just kind of like jump into it on your own and kind of explore, just go wild, just go wild, try your best, and boom shakalaka boom boom, you'll see what happens, Now, next thing, new evolutions for some Gen 2 and Gen 4 Pokemon. Okay, so this wouldn't be weird whatsoever, because Gen 2 Pokemon would make sense, as we have potentially Let's Go Peach, Let's Go Eevee in the future, and Gen 2 just hasn't gotten enough love and attention. And then Gen 4 will make sense, because the Gen 4 remakes are coming after this game. That's just guaranteed, okay? That's coming after these Sword and Shield games. Not maybe next year, or maybe the year after that, but they're coming in the next 2 years. In 2020 or 2021, we're gonna see Diamond and Pearl remakes before any other Pokemon game. There's no way they put out a third version of Sword and Shield before they put out a Diamond and Pearl remake. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. I think I think we can establish that pretty solidly. So that would make sense. The next thing here, no new Megas. No, fair enough. Though it does make me a little bit disappointed because I love Megas. Visit previous regions. The post game will be very rich. You'll need some help from a local region in order to locate and defeat this Mewtwo. I didn't understand back then, but now it seems clear that he meant Kalos. All right. So yeah, that's a little bit interesting. And then bonus, in a conversation we had, I told him, please assure me that there won't be any stupid Johto Let's Go games. He said, you will be disappointed, my friend. So yeah, he's trying to imply here that there's going to be another Let's Go game, aka Let's Go Johto, which makes me, a little bit worried, because I love Johto and I don't want to see it messed up or ruined through Let's Go. I really hated Let's Go Peach, Let's Go. I'm going to be honest. I really didn't like them. I didn't hate them. I just didn't enjoy them as much as I enjoyed most most of all other Pokemon games I played, it just didn't bring that same joy to me. There was a lot of fun aspects to it, but then the journey was ruined to me by the catching mechanic, which was so broken with the Switch, throwing. I mean, sure, if you played in, like, handheld, sure, but since I stream it, and since it's my job to stream it, I can't do that. I have to play it while it's docked, and when I do that, I gotta use the motion controls, which are horrible. So to me, the prospect of doing that again for another set, like a whole 4 or 5 months, whatever amount of time I'm going to be playing through another Pokemon game, because just part of my daily routine, it just doesn't make me feel like it's the most exciting thing in the world. Also, that's assuming that we're going to get Johto remade, in Let's Go, the way that they remade Johto in the past. Because if they give us Johto and they don't include Kanto, I'd be pissed off. If they give us Johto and they don't do the same amount of content that we had in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, then I'm boycotting that game. I'm just boycotting that potential Let's Go Johto game. You might be sitting there like, telling yourself, oh, I don't care, I want it anyways. Sure, that's good for you, you can enjoy it. Personally, I think that I'm going to probably vote with my wallet on that one and say that I probably don't want that game if they don't give me enough features. Which, who knows, maybe it'll change. Maybe there will be a lot of, like, improvements that will make me want to play it. Maybe it'll take, all the stuff that was bad about Let's Go and fix it, or fix the motion controls, for crying out loud, honestly. So I gotta get new Joy-Cons, by the way, so gotta save somebody for that part of things. But either way, hopefully they'll fix those issues that existed, and also just add new content, man. But if there's no Kanto in it, I'm boycotting that bad boy, because, and you might be thinking, like, why would you want Kanto? Don't you already, like, despise Kanto? Yeah, but it's just, it's a matter of principle, okay? If the previous remakes of Johto could include, Kanto in them, I'm pretty sure these dudes should be able to handle that once again for, another game. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. You literally have Kanto finished in Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Just take that, shove it into Let's Go Johto, boom chakalaka boom boom, we have a perfect product. It's just, there you go, you know what I mean? And that way, people who, didn't want to buy Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, you'll find then. You can literally play through it at this point, but, start with Johto first, and then get into Kanto. That's, like, perfect in my opinion. But that's assuming they'll make another Let's Go Johto game, or Let's Go game, just Pokemon Let's Go game. That's assuming they're gonna do that, which we do not even know. If we're gonna be frankly honest, we don't even know that. We're going with assumptions here, that they're gonna do that, but who knows? I mean, the first game, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, did sell about 10 million copies, so it's a little bit like that. So that was the first part of the video, though. We've been going for a decent chunk of time. Like I said, this is gonna be a pretty long one. We have 3 different topics to go through. It's a pretty chunky video, just as you may notice. Now, the next one is this one right here. So first of all, I do not know who made this. I'm so sorry. I wish I knew, but I do not have a clue who made this. Whoever did it, though, shout out to you, dog. You did some amazing work. This looks sick. But basically what we see here is a version of Ash, of how he might look like, in the Galar region, which I think looks fantastic, by the way. I think this is perfect for how he should look like. First of all, he's got those, like, on his jeans, those pockets, they look like the same kind of, like, pattern and whatnot that you see on, like, kilts and stuff, and kind of like how you see on the male character in Pokemon Sword and Shield from the trailer, as well as the female trailer kind of has, like, similar pattern thing going on. The shirt also is very similar to the one on the trainer, except this one's, blue to match more with Ash, rather than being full on, like, red and whatnot, like it was on the trainer in the trailer for, the male trainer. He's got the collar, like, popping and all that. The hat's looking good, his face looking good, very similar to the one, the face is very similar to the one from Sun and Moon, as you may notice. You got Pikachu down there looking a little bit sketchy, and of course Sobble, because this guy's, who made this is assuming he's gonna have Sobble as his starter Pokemon. Also, it's a happy Sobble, man. It's a happy Sobble, dude. It ain't a sad Sobble. It ain't a crying Sobble. It's a happy Sobble. So that's good. Always good news. And yeah, overall a cool design, I'm gonna be honest and say. I mean, I'm actually really intrigued in how they're gonna pull off Ash in this one, because the thing about Sun and Moon, in Sun and Moon we had a very much younger Ash, very much more immature looking Ash. The whole story was a little bit more childish in nature, which, I mean, Pokemon's childish always, but I think X and Y took a stride in the right direction by making it a little bit more serious, and make Ash into actually a good, just a good trainer and good battler, you know what I mean? But of course, forced him to lose at the end, which was disappointing, because honestly, I wish he would have won the Kalos League. He should have won it, and all that. And if he had won that, I mean, of course, there would have been a lot of issues, because they don't want him to win, because if he does win, then that causes them issues. But I really wish they would just let him win the leagues, you know what I mean? Maybe, like, make it every other or so generation, like, every few, like, generations he wins and then loses, you know what I mean? Because just because he wins a league doesn't mean that, he just has to now instantly, just stop becoming a Pokemon trainer and has to stop traveling the world. Because the point of Pokemon trainers is to continuously keep, getting better and better and better, and keep traveling the world trying to catch them all, you know what I mean? All of them, not just the one in the region you're in, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I do hope they go down that path, but who knows, man? It's a bit, it's all just, you know, speculation for now. But cool design, though, I will say. So, final thing here, and I think I talked about this slightly, and this is from Varger here, or Varg GR. Who says, just posting a wish list for Pokemon Sword and Shield, don't mind me, ooh woo. And it says that Battle Wheel is in Post-Game City at the top of the map. Yeah, we've read this one, actually, the similar one before, except this one's slightly different, though. He does mention also the map is not one-to-one, that there's some open areas, but mainly to show off the power of the new system, like the area inspired by the Lake District in the center of the map, which is true. I mean, do remember that none of these things are one-to-one. You know, what you see in the trailer isn't one-to-one to what's on the map that we've seen. It's you know, they're different sizes in reality. He also mentions new Professor Holly. I like that he's saying a wish list, but then he gives information. Dark-type gym, finally, which would be great. We still haven't seen that. Also, for those who do not know, the reason they don't do a like a Dark-type gym is because apparently Dark-types are inherently evil, and gym leaders are meant to not be evil. They're supposed to be like pure trainers that, you know, like highly regarded and shouldn't be, you know, dwelling in the concept of evilness, right? So that'd be cool if they actually did it for once. We've heard Professor Holly before mention, another male professor, who less significant. Think like Cedric, Juniper, in Black and White sort of level, inspired by Darwin. Then also no Kalos postgame, which you had before. Galar more linked to Nova than Kalos, you know, Game Freak. Legends are two wolves, used to be one, being but split. Mythical is going to be dueled out like Gen 6 and Gen 7, which, you know, it is what it is. Story has split paths, alright. Friendly rival returns, seems a little bit disappointing if they're going to do that. Gyms have emphasis on sport with a cheering feature, which we've heard before. And train station serves some purpose as boats between islands and Alola. A decent chunk of map goes unused. So yeah, it's chunky, man. It's chunky. It's a big chunk of rumors. So there's a lot to go through. The last part here was more of a recap. Like, I think I've seen this one before, slightly different though. But I could also be repeating the one that I've seen before, because they are, like, so many of these rumors are the same. Sometimes they even use the same images and stuff, a lot of the same text. And if I do repeat one, I'm sorry. The first one we talked about though, the long one we just went through, that one I haven't seen before, so that I'm sure about. The last one though, definitely a bit of a hit or miss one, but yeah. And also the Ash thing, I really want to talk about it, because I've already done a little bit of a segment about Ash and how I think he's gonna, you know, chart his little journey around and all that. But yeah, it is what it is, though, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. My name's RuffledRowlit. Have yourselves a great day, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.